Good morning. Our prelude this morning is Before We Begin, originally recorded by Broadcast. Here again, at the end, before the beginning, so the salt will spill again, throw it over your shoulder. Oh, it's in tomorrow, fortune or sorrow. Wait, you may win. I don't mean to show that I know how this goes. Before we begin again. And you may hide on one side and me on the other. You may speak, but wait for me. My sentence may falter. Oh, it's in tomorrow, fortune or sorrow. Wait, we may win. I don't mean to show that I know how this goes. Before we begin again. So here we are at the end, before the beginning, and so the salt may spill again, throw it over your shoulder. Oh, it's in tomorrow, fortune or sorrow. Wait, we may win. I don't mean to show that I know how this goes. Before we begin again, before the beginning.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton for our first service of 2021. Today we will share in our annual fire communion tradition, so you'll want to have a scrap of paper and a pen handy for that. My name is Mary Ellen Scanlon, and I'm this morning's service leader. Thank you to Reverend Victoria, to Tim doing our story, to Rachel and Cindy for the music, John and Nancy behind the scenes today, and Charlie Pond, who's joining us for a special moment. Before we begin the service, and if you wait after the end of the service, when the breakout groups begin, you'll be unmuted then, so you can have a chat with others. We are not the first people on this land, nor will we be the last. We acknowledge our connection to the web of all existence, honoring the past and preparing for the future. The stewardship of the original peoples who lived here preserved this place for our generation. We seek to be respectful stewards for those who follow. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, today you are one of us, and you are welcome in this house of worship. Our mission is to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action to heal the world. Our opening words today are Out of the Flames by Sarah Eileen Lawal. Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest conviction to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise. Each time we gather, we light a chalice. It reminds us that we are entering sacred space and time together. It reminds us of our connection to Unitarian Universalists all over the world, and today many of them are celebrating fire communion. So while Victoria lights the church chalice, I invite you to join me in saying our chalice lighting words. May this flame be our light of friendship and love. And the first hymn is number 9, Neither Forward or Behind.
Number 9, No Longer Forward Nor Behind. No longer forward nor behind, I look in hope or fear, but grateful take the good I find, the best of now and here. I break my pilgrim staff, I lay aside the toiling oar. The angels sought so far away, I welcome at my door. For all the jarring notes of life seem blending in a song, and all the angles of its strife snow rounding into calm. And so the shadows fall apart, and so the west winds play, and all the windows of my heart I open to the day.
The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. As we turn towards 2021, we can take a final glimpse of the past year and consider all that it held for us. During the first service of each new year, our congregation shares a tradition called fire communion. Like so many other events, we will have to make some accommodations for our current situation. But the important thing is that we will still be releasing the year behind us. So take a piece of paper, if you have one handy, and reflect on the year 2020. Consider what you would like to leave behind today. Letting it go so that it changes form and disappears. What parts of our lives, what things, ideas, people, ways of living have become obstacles to our becoming the people we want to be, the people we need to be? What's holding you back? What's getting in the way of you living as fully as you'd like to? What might you let go? Now, write that down on the paper in a word or two. Nobody will see it except you. This year in particular, I invite you to consider writing down something that is within your control or ability to let go. So much of the past months, we haven't been able to control much of what goes on around us. So I will pause for a minute while you write. And if writing is not convenient for you right now, just hold that thought in your heart. Now, ordinarily, at this point, we would all take our turn to come to the front of the sanctuary and put our flash paper into the burning bowl and watch it disappear. So this year, I'll burn a piece of flash paper on your behalf. And it says, "Let it go," but I promise I won't sing. Now, if you have a candle, you may wish to burn your paper at home, and please be careful doing that. If not, I encourage you to tear it up, and after the service, get it out of the house. Put it in the recycling bin, into the compost, or maybe just flush it, but get it out of your life. So here we go. As I burn the paper, I release the year 2020 and leave it behind us. Poof. So I'll close our fire communion with thanks to Erica Hewitt for all her words today. If the past year held joy and growth for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you. If the past year held pain and sadness, may you be released for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new year with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. And now Tim has a story for us.
Our story today is Amick Loves School, and this is again in our 7 Teachings series from Métis author Katharina Vermette, and the illustrations are by Irene Kazoo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not sure about the kazoo. And this is a story of wisdom, and wisdom is our service theme this month. Amick loves school. He loves getting clean clothes on in the morning. He loves walking to school with his brother. He loves sharpening his pencils at the big sharpener on the wall, and he is learning to write big, long words. When he grows up, Amick wants to be a doctor or a veterinarian or an astronaut or a paleontologist. They study dinosaurs. Amick tells his Moosham, "I like school so much. I like math and painting and gym and my teacher, Mr. B." "Oh, that's very good," his Moosham says. "I'm glad you like school." Amick asks him, "What was your favorite part about school when you were a kid?" Moosham looks very serious. "I liked reading and math, and I liked playing with my friends outside." "What about your teacher?" Amick asks him. Moosham sighs. "I didn't like my teacher very much, my boy. I went to a residential school. Things were different there." "What is a residential school?" Amick asks. "Residential schools were big schools in faraway places. I had to leave my family and I really missed them. I miss speaking my language and smudging every morning." "That sounds sad," Amick says to him, and Moosham nods. Then Amick has an idea. "You should come to my school." The next morning, Moosham walks to school with Amick and his brother. "See, Moosham, my school is just down the street." Moosham smiles. Amick shows him his work on the bulletin board. "See, Moosham, we are learning our language." Moosham looks very proud. Then Amick introduces him to his teacher. "See, Moosham," he says after, "Mr. B is nice." Moosham has tears in his eyes. "Oh no, Moosham, please don't cry," Amick says. "It's okay," he tells him and smiles. "I am happy." Amick smiles too. Together they sit with everyone and smudge to welcome a new day. And that's the end of our story this morning.
On a Sunday morning 10 years ago, I walked into the First Unitarian Church. I didn't know what to expect, and I was a bit nervous about going to church for the first time in years, but I was impressed at the line of greeters waiting to welcome me. They all shook my hand, and I was directed to the newcomers' kiosk. The lobby was full of people, some standing around chatting and some bustling around to get ready for the service. One woman in particular caught my eye. She was wandering around sort of aimlessly, looking a bit lost and alone. I was very drawn to her and decided I would seek her out after the service and talk to her. Imagine my surprise when this very same woman walked onto the stage and up to the podium and began the service. Her name was Victoria Ingram, and she was the brand new minister. Now here we are 10 years later, and it's time to say goodbye to Victoria as she begins the retirement phase of her life. It will be hard to say goodbye to this woman who has been anything but lost and alone. I will miss her humor, her wisdom, and her support through some very difficult times in my life. I feel I am not only losing a minister, but also a friend. However, there are things to be done before she goes. As a member of the Victoria Ingram send-off team, which is chaired by Betty Ripa, I am excited to be involved in the planning of her send-off party. On the first Sunday of each month from now until June, members of our team will be presenting a 2-minute Victoria moment, as I have done this morning. You'll be invited to participate in a very special project we have planned, and I encourage you to check your emails in the coming week for an important message on how you can take part in giving Victoria the best send-off ever. My name is Charlie Pond, and this has been my Victoria moment.
Thank you very much, Charlie. I'm very touched by the effort of this committee, and it's hard to believe that the time goes by so quickly, isn't it? And I know that between now and when I am scheduled to leave at the end of June, it will go by equally as fast. So thank you, Charlie, for that and for reminding me of those times back 10 years ago. And a note to self, don't put the Victoria minute right before I'm supposed to talk. But it's a good time for a moment of contemplation and reflection, and I invite you to be comfortable and listen to these words from Robin Tanner. She calls this a blessing for risk takers and failures. After the reading, there'll be a time for you to be with yourself, heart, mind, body, soul, and then Cindy will lead us in some chanting this morning. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are those who fall in the mud and then jump up with gusto and rip their pants and skin their elbows and bruise their egos, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are those who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the label of less than, for they know the wisdom of the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, wash up, extend a wish for peace, who return to the sites of their failures and who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses for hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice.
The world is filled with goodness. Love reach me, earth teach me, wisdom fill my soul. The world is filled with goodness. Love reach me, earth teach me, wisdom fill my soul. The world is filled with goodness. Love reach me, earth teach me, wisdom fill my soul. The world is filled with goodness. Love reach me, earth teach me, wisdom fill my soul. The world is filled with goodness. Love reach me, earth teach me, wisdom fill my soul. Wisdom fill my soul. Wisdom fill my soul.
Thank you so much for that, Cindy. Another beautiful chant to share with us this morning. I so appreciate that. Well, Mary Ellen said it, and I'll share it too. Happy New Year. You know, we said those same words last year at this time, and you know how that turned out. It wouldn't be a surprise if all of us were feeling a bit nervous about wishing each other a good year for 2021, with so much still being uncertain and up in the air. Will there be massive fires again this year? When will we get our vaccine? Will we take the vaccine? Will he leave the White House voluntarily? And what about the polar bears? Now, lest we consign all of 2020 to the junk heap of disappointment, and I don't want to be too Pollyanna about it, but there are still some good things to celebrate. You know, good things can come out of challenges. I mean, after all, we've all learned a lot more about the importance of personal hygiene. Being cooped up has given us more time with our families. Most of the time, that's a blessing, and it's also boosted the sales of booksellers and reduced highway accidents and allowed the earth to get a breather to help the water restore itself and the air. Many of us have had to familiarize ourselves with technology and apps and software that we'd never expected to need in our lifetime in order to stay in touch with one another, and yet here we are doing all kinds of things that we didn't think we'd have to do. And we've learned a lot about how truly interconnected we are and how the choices of some of us truly impact the lives of the rest of us. And I think that living a life through pandemic will change us forever. You know, we say those hopeful words, Happy New Year, not because we are assured of a great year ahead of us, but because we want to start a new cycle with a sense of hope and positive anticipation. We want it to be happy and healthy and harmonious in the year ahead for everyone on earth. We hope to be a part of making it so. We want there to be peace and prosperity, and we want everyone to have a life filled with a sense of purpose. We truly hope for the best. And so we take a deep breath and we start the new year. And most of us have amassed enough years to know the magic formula for making a new year happen, new starts happen. If we want to create a certain outcome, We have to take the actions that will move us toward that desired goal. Wishing it simply isn't enough. In the spirit of Captain Picard, we have to make it so. Sometimes that leads us to making New Year's resolutions about our level of exercise or our choices for eating or improving some aspect of our person through maybe some more focused effort or getting an additional bit of education, having someone coach us, or maybe we're just going to take it on through sheer determination. We sign up for a new gym membership. Well, we won't sign up for that until February, at least this year. And if we're not going to sign up for a gym, at least we tell ourselves we're going to walk more or we're going to put on a dance video. We search out healthier recipes or meal options, and we cut back on the bad stuff. We try to save more, spend less, and look for ways to economize. Perhaps we pick one of our personal not-so-great habits and vow to be a better person by changing our behavior. Our intentions are important. And I know that people make resolutions and change their behavior, and then that really can lead us to make life improvements. But if you look at the research, the odds aren't that great for resolutions. They tell us that about 80% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned by the second week of February. So it obviously takes high resolve and fortitude to keep up with those commitments. Now, when we do keep at it, when we keep trying to make change, we feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. And when we don't, we risk feeling ashamed and frustrated. What that statistic about resolution failure, it appears that most of us are at least in for some sense of personal failure in a couple of months if we are trying to do a resolution. And that's not always a great way to start off any year, is it? So I'm in favor of aspiration and setting goals, but this year I'm focused on keeping mine in perspective. I know that I could benefit from some improvements in my lifestyle choices, and I will work on those as well. But I think we might all need to be a bit more gentle with ourselves this year, and what might benefit us all the most is being better human beings to one another. So I'd like to work on being kinder, more patient, less quick to jump to judgment, and more quick to offer compassion and understanding. Just like giving up sugar, for example, or preparing for a marathon, I know these aren't necessarily easy goals either. We all are a bit creatures of our habits, shall we say. But after the year we've been through, I think that making ourselves better at being with one another is one of the greatest gifts we can offer to the world. We've all had a chance to spend a lot more time on our own. It's given us time for reflection, and we know, or we hope at least, that vaccines and the natural cycle of pandemics and illnesses, that the day will come when we are back together. And so here are some ways that I think we can work on improving that will make that world when we come back together more caring and compassionate. And the first would be develop or continue to develop your sense of humor about yourself. In today's reading for contemplation, Robin Tanner talks about the blessings of being the one who takes risks and is willing to make a fool of oneself in the process. Take risks, and then good-naturedly shake it off when your attempts are less than perfect the first time, or the 50th time. If we don't try, we never do. Having a sense of humor about it all helps to lessen fear, eliminate shame, and combat an inflated sense of one's own importance. I've found that people are usually so worried about themselves that they hardly notice my mistakes anyway. So give yourself the same gift. Be kind to yourself. as you would be to other people. Take it with a grain of salt. Laugh it off, and then dust off your pride and try it again. The second person that came to mind when I was thinking about living a better life was the writer and speaker Helen Keller. And she once told us that life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Developing our sense of curiosity and wonder can open up a world of ideas and experiences and revelations that can make every day an adventure. So what could you learn today? Where haven't you gone? And if not able to do it right now in real time, well, how about seeing a documentary or a travelogue, reading a book, exploring online? What have you always been curious about? Who could help you explore your interests, learn more about your hobbies, or get you started on a new pastime? So put yourself out there a bit at a time, and as it becomes more safe to do so in for now, a bit COVID-defined world. And think about how you will look and find out more about those things as it becomes easier to be involved with other people. And the third one, well, I'm going to go to one of my new favorite authors, Canadian author Louise Penny. You know, I got my first Louise Penny books at a Blooms for Africa's book sale, and one of those wonderful February book sales several years ago. I was talking about liking mysteries, and somebody said, oh, I saw some books that you'll like, and they handed me a 3-pack. Wow. Did I ever know I found something wonderful when I started reading those books? And I've gone down the Louise Penny rabbit hole. I'm totally involved in her main character's life, Chief Inspector Armand Gamache, who's the head of the Sûreté du Québec. He mentors other young officers and is fond of sharing with them the 4 things he believes leads one to wisdom. Gamache says there are 4 sentences we need to learn to say and to mean. And they are 1, I don't know. 2, I need help. 3, I'm sorry. And 4, I was wrong. If you're a person who doesn't use those sentences very often or isn't very comfortable for those sentences, well, I know that we often learn it as a cultural value to appear knowledgeable and strong, independent and self-assured. And while those qualities can be helpful, when they are exercised to their extreme, they are frankly dysfunctional in a society where we in fact cannot possibly know everything, do everything ourselves, never need to apologize, and never make mistakes. So it's time to learn some new phrases, or use them more. I don't know. I need help. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Now, some of those phrases may be easy for you, and others may be a bit more challenging. I find for me the hardest one sometimes is, I need help. If we yearn to be connected to others, if we want to be truly transparent about who we are as human beings, giving ourselves permission to be human and other people permission to be human, if we want others to feel safe with us and we value meaningful relationships over personal pride, I think we could use Gamache's advice and make those 4 sentences much more a part of our vocabulary. We could say them and mean them. Those are the kinds of sentences that demonstrate not only our humanity, but our vulnerability and our willingness to be real with other people. And that gives people permission to be real and vulnerable with us. They say to other people that we have limits and we welcome them to join us in relationship. We tell them that they are important to us and we are committed to staying in rapport with them. And we've learned so much about the importance of others in our life during this last year. So there you go, 3 easy steps for a happy new year. Easy. I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, keeping promises to ourselves can lead to a deep sense of satisfaction and pride of accomplishment. When we set a goal and work toward making it a reality in our lives, it helps to build our self-esteem. Yes, we all have lapses and setbacks, but that makes the ultimate accomplishment even more meaningful, I think. We set a goal, we kept our promise to ourselves, and that's a powerful feeling. Being able to share those achievements with others in meaningful relationships takes our personal accomplishments to a whole new level. A sense of connection and interdependence that we all need and that the world needs right now. Building our capacity as friends and fellow life travelers is a laudable goal as well, as we create greater interpersonal strength and resilience in the world. And that's a powerful feeling too. Good luck. Happy New Year.
Number 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stories of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, winds set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our closing words today are by W.E.B. Du Bois, who, as a leader in the civil rights movement, knew a fair bit about overcoming challenges. He wrote, "Now is the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done, and not some future day or future year. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time. Now are the hours of work, and tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime. Blessed be."
The postlude this morning is one of my favorite New Year's songs, My Dear Acquaintance. My dear acquaintance, it's so good to know you. The strength of your hand that is loving and giving. So happy New Year, with love overflowing, with joy in our hearts for the blessed New Year. So raise your glass and we'll have a cheer for all of us who are gathered here. And a happy New Year to all that is living, to all that is gentle and kind and forgiving. Raise your glass and we'll have a cheer. My dear acquaintance, a happy New Year. So all of those who are thither and yonder,
grow fonder and fonder. And hail to those who we hold so dear. And hail to those who are gathered here. And happy New Year to all that is living, to all that is gentle and kind and forgiving. Raise a glass and we'll have some cheer. So my dear acquaintance, a happy New Year.